chapter addresses topics such as what short grade reflect, who sort different objective, tasks, and component of a course features into a formula for concluding grades, how the cultural and institutional philosophies the state standard for grading, how can a teacher achieve viability is grading student, and what is grading rubric. Um, Guidelines for selecting grading criteria. The first, consistency. It's essential for a component of grading to be consistent with a institutional philosophy and regulation. For a further discussion of this topic, some institution, for example, mandate deduction for unique absence. Other required that only the final exam determine a course grade. Still other institutions, many implicitly the dictate a relatively high number of A's and B's for each class of students, embedded in institutional philosophies are the implied expectation that students place a school or program and your attention to those impressions in warrant. The second, transparency. All of the components of a final grade need to be explicitly stated in writing to students at the beginning of a term of study with a designation of percentage or weighting figure for each component. The third, specificity. Specific. If your grading system, the third, specific. If your grading system includes item D, third G, in the questionnaire in the previous section, improvement, behavior, effort, motivation. It is important for you to recognize their subjective, but this does not give you as excuse to avoid converting such factor in observable and measurable result. Challenge yourself to create checklists, chart, and not taking system that allow you to cover it to the student the basis for your conclusion. It is further advisable to guard against final week impressionistic summary of decision by giving ongoing periodic feedback to students on subject matter through written comment or conferences. Finally, consider allocation relatively small weight to item C, short 8, so that a grade primarily reflect achievement. Designation of 5% to 10% of a grade to such factor will not maximize achievement in a course. On the other and a small percentage locate course grade. For example, suppose you have a well-behaved, seemingly motivated and effort-giving student whose quantifiable score achieve or her at the top of the